All right, let's talk about the Defensive Player of the Year candidate himself, Nick Bosa, and what he's done well for the 49ers in several different ways. He is one of those guys who just makes plays. I don't know what it is about these elite edge rushers. You'd think that there'd be guys who are just elite pass rushers, and that's all they are, but it feels like the elite pass rushers also find ways to make plays in other ways, and that's what he's going to do here, Bosa is, where it's going to be just a wide receiver screen. Edge rushers shouldn't come into play there. However, when Smith takes a snap and throws it in that direction, you see that Bosa was able to go over there, get a hand on it, and be able to knock it away. So again, little stuff like that. Again, that's not what Bosa's known for. That's not what the main... This video isn't going to be about his ability to bat down screen passes. It's going to be about his pass rush, but that's still nice to see that he can do stuff like that. Heading over to this play now, part of why, if you remember back when he was the number 2 overall pick, and there was some real speculation that he could have been the number 1 overall pick with the Cardinals drafting Kyler Murray. Instead, I think they feel happy about that selection, but part of why some people thought Bosa should have been the number 1 overall pick is partially because of his just insane athleticism. This guy is a freak athlete, and plays like this are a perfect way to utilize your freak athlete edge rusher, which is stunts. You have your interior defensive lineman basically kind of clear out the guard, get the right guard to move towards his right, which would be towards the left of the screen. And they're also going to have their defensive tackle make sure he runs into the center, so that could allow for Bosa to get a clean run through the guard and center. Now, the issue is, of course, he has more room he has to run, but this is where having athleticism comes into play, right? Having speed could allow you to get there quickly. Right when this play begins, you're going to see very well done by San Francisco, and you see that Bosa has a clear running lane towards Smith. This is the kind of stuff that San Francisco does. Really, they've been doing it for a while. Since Bosa got there, they like to run a lot of stunts, and the teams that get the most pressures are teams that do this. And it's not like, obviously, Bosa can win one-on-one consistently against tackles. Of course he can, but hey, why not help him? Sometimes when teams have great edge rushers, they sort of say, okay, we have a great edge rusher, we're just going to let him do his thing, which you could do with Bosa, and he would still be dominant. But it's like, hey, why not also help him, right? You can have a superstar and also make things easier on that superstar. Now, Bosa doesn't get there. He actually still gets a quarterback hit on that play. Still definitely gets credit for a pressure. But, if the ball comes out quickly, there's nothing an edge rusher can do. But had that ball not come out quickly, that probably is, a sack. So, really good stuff there from the entire 49ers defensive line, not just Bosa. A play like this is another good one where I've mentioned this a couple times on this channel already, but I'll mention it again since we're talking about Bosa is, Al Michaels brought up on the broadcast that Nick Bosa has 4 personal foul penalties, and I was talking about how, 10 years ago, if you heard that an edge rusher had 4 personal fouls, you'd be like, oh man, what a dirty player. What a guy, like, what's he doing hitting these quarterbacks? Now you hear it and you say, oh yeah, of course he does, because he hits quarterbacks a lot, and you get penalized for that when you do it, which is unfortunate, and that's what's going to happen here. But it's a good play by Bosa. I mean, sometimes the pressure comes at the exact wrong time, and you end up getting penalized for it, but it's going to be a good play where he's going up one-on-one against Charles Cross. But you notice I'm also talking about a defensive tackle here. This is going to be Eric Armstead, who, good player, definitely someone who is pretty good himself. He's going to actually have an impact on this play as well. Watch as right when this play begins, you see it looks like, I could be wrong, I believe Armstead does create some contact on Charles Cross. He definitely makes some contact. I mean, you see his right hand is on Cross. I think he gets Cross a little bit out of position, and then Bosa's going to do the rest of the work. I mean, watch him have the strength to just knock over Cross. He tackles Geno Smith when Smith still had the ball. Does land on Smith, but I just don't know what else you're supposed to do there, because part of why he landed on Smith was because he kind of got bumped into someone else. So it's like, okay, yeah, I guess the majority of his body weight did come down on Smith. I don't know how you avoid that. I don't think you do. I think that's just the life of being an edge rusher. Sometimes you get penalized for a good play, and that's what happened to Bosa on that one, in my opinion. You also have stuff like this, which again, it's just going to be him, just consistently winning on one-on-ones, right? I often talk about how one of the issues with film studies against edge rushers is I realistically could take a bad edge rusher and make him look like a star, or take a good edge rusher and make him look like a bad player, just simply because of sample size. The reality is, if you're an NFL player, you're going to have some good plays and some bad plays, and really what you want from an edge rusher is just a guy to win consistently, and that's what makes Bosa so good, is that year after year that he's been in the lineup, he just has such a high pass rush win rate, such a high pressure rate, and a high sack rate on top of it, but it's the consistent wins that you like to see, and this is going to be an example of a win. Watch how when this play begins. You see right here, so what Bosa's trying to do is a rip move, where he's trying to get his left arm and get it underneath Charles Cross's left arm. One of the things that's made Bosa so incredible over his career, college and pros, is he's always had very good hands. Yes, the athleticism is there, but as anyone who's played the position will tell you, athleticism only gets you so far. You have to have hands, and Bosa certainly does. Watch him get that hand underneath, and that's going to allow him to power through, and he gets the sack right there. So, again, sometimes when you get a pressure, you don't get rewarded with a sack. Sometimes you get punished with a personal foul. But, sometimes you do get the sack. It's all, all a numbers game. Get enough pressures, you will get sacks, and he gets the sack on that one. Although, to be honest, I think this one was my favorite pressure, even though it is not going to result in a sack. So it's once again going to be a one-on-one matchup, which, I have to say, maybe worth mentioning. Denver has gotten a lot of criticism so far for trading for Russell Wilson. The main guy so far, the main piece that the Seahawks got is Charles Cross, who did not have his best rookie season. That's fair to say. But listen, I'm not giving up on him or anything. Just throwing it out there. He's not had a great rookie year. He's been okay. He hasn't been a mess out there either. But, I think they're expecting more from him, and I'm sure that he will improve. But anyways, back to Bosa. Watch what he's going to do here. Watch as when this play begins. You see right here, there's several things he could do, but what he's going to do is just not overthink this. You see that Cross's hands are already out. There's several ways you can play this, but the disadvantage of putting your hands out too early is it allows the edge rusher to react to it. Watch Bosa just swipe him away, and then he's going to be able to use his speed to get over and, again, create a pressure on Geno Smith on that play. So, again, the consistent wins is definitely something that makes Bosa such a good player. I mean, you look at his stat sheet, it is absolutely very impressive. Mostly all the way at the end, the sacks and the pressures are the main things I think we're looking at. The sacks, 15.5, that leads the NFL, but also the pressures leads the NFL by a good margin. 47 pressures. The next closest on the list is Matthew Judon with 39. So he has a sizable lead in both of those two categories. So if you're giving Defensive Player of the Year to an edge rusher, I think there's no doubt about it. Bosa is the guy, in my opinion. I think Bosa's been incredible. I think Bosa probably is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. He has had a huge role in what he's done for the 49ers, and part of why the 49ers are so successful is because of him, who, again, I fucking made a video a few weeks ago talking about, why aren't we talking more about this guy? Well, now we're talking more about him. He's definitely in the Defensive Player of the Year race. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.